Hello ladies, and welcome to my labor and delivery video. So, I know this is super late and I don't have the baby with me. She's outside in the living room sleeping with her dad. But I wanted to hurry up and do this video because, yeah, it's been almost 2 weeks now since she was born. So, I wanted to hurry up and get this out there, and then I will try to do another video with her in it, just kind of a little update on her and what's been going on. But I will start with, I had a doctor's appointment on the 3rd, and I went in and he said there was a little bit of protein in my urine and my blood pressure was slightly elevated. So he said that he wanted to go ahead and set up for me to be induced, which was fine because I wanted to be induced that week anyways. He said he scheduled it for Tuesday and they can call anytime after midnight. And also at the doctor's office he made me stay and do a non-stress test just to make sure I wasn't contracting or anything. And I was still at 3 centimeters, about 70% effaced, he said. So I was still, hadn't made any change basically. So they did put me on a stress test for like 30 minutes. That was fun. I was just sitting there with the machine on. And then, yeah, I wasn't contracting, nothing was going on. So they sent me home, and he said that the hospital would call anytime from midnight on, basically, once they had a bed and space available. So I said, okay. So my mom went with me to that appointment because she had taken that whole week off. So that was nice. So on the way home, she stopped and she bought me some jammies and some slippers, and she bought the baby a little outfit. So it was nice. And then she dropped me back off at home. And they told me to get some rest, but I mean, come on, I'm like knowing that tomorrow I'm going to meet my baby, possibly tomorrow or Wednesday, depending on when they would have called. So I couldn't get any rest at all. But I did come home and I cleaned the bathroom and I tried to pick up the house a little bit. I did a little laundry. I just tried to get everything somewhat decent so if people came over once we came home, or when we came home, it wouldn't be a complete mess in the house. So then my husband got home around 2:30, I think. 2 or 2:30 he got home. He got home early. So I asked him if he had anything he needed to do, which he didn't. And we just kind of hung out. And so then I couldn't sleep, and I kept thinking, oh, I hope they call right at midnight. And they never called. They didn't call until 9 o'clock in the morning. It was like 9:30. Which was nice because I was able to get up and I went to the store and got him some Gatorade and some chips and a couple of snacks and for his little bag that we packed for him. And yeah, so then they called us and they said that they were ready for us. So the bags were already packed, of course. They've been packed for like ever. So we loaded up the car and we took our dogs to my mom's house because her husband works from home. So he's able to be with our dogs, which is good because we knew we were going to be at least one night in there. So we took our dogs to my mom's, and then we headed to the hospital. We got there about 10:30, and by the time they got us back, they checked us in, and we were in a triage room for a little while. So at about 11, they came in and they did my IV. They checked me out, still the same. Well, I was about 90% effaced, I think they said, but I was still at 3. And they came in and started my Pitocin. So at about 11, between 11 and 11:30, by the time they did all of that, you know, they had me sign some papers and they asked me some questions. And we hung out in the triage room probably for about an hour and a half. And then they moved us to a labor and delivery room. And my nurse was awesome. She was like the best nurse ever. I was so happy I got her. Because you hear these horror stories about these mean nurses. But anyway, so we moved to a labor and delivery room, and my nurse came with me. And we kind of hung out in there. And about 1:30, I wasn't really feeling any contractions, more kind of like crampy. It wasn't really that bad. And then they came in about 1:30 or 2. Somewhere, I should have wrote down the times, but I didn't. They came in and broke my water, and they said a nice clear fluid, lots of fluid. So that was good. And then she upped my Pitocin, and then I started feeling the contractions, and they weren't, you know, they were bad, but they weren't horribly bad, but I couldn't talk through them. I had to like breathe and take deep breaths, and it was getting to be kind of painful. So I was trying to make it to 5 before I got my epidural, and I was just, and at that point I was like, you know what, after a while, about 30 minutes to an hour of the contractions like that, because they were coming like every 3 to 4 minutes. I think she had upped my Pitocin again, and it was just I was like, I need the epidural. So she's like, okay, I'll let him know because he has somebody else to do anyway. So by the time he's done with them, he'll come in, and you'll definitely probably be ready for it. So okay. So she checked me before. No, I'm lying. So the epidural guy, he came pretty quick for them having other people. I guess there was not as many people as they thought or something. So he came in, and he did my epidural. I had my husband and my mom in there, and I had them leave. My mom doesn't like needles, and my husband is a little bit squeamish, so I had them leave, and the nurse was there with me, which was fine. And it was not bad at all. I thought I was really nervous for the epidural, but I was like, I can't take the pain because I'm a wimp, and I had no problem admitting that I was going to have drugs during my labor. So yeah, he came in. The worst part was like what they said. It was like it felt like a shot in my back. And then it just kind of went numb, and then there was just pressure, so it was just like an odd feeling. It wasn't really painful. And then they put it in, and it was perfect. And I thought I would be like completely numb, but no, I could still move my legs, and but I didn't have any pain. So when they said that's what an epidural is supposed to be, you're not supposed to be like completely numb, like your legs shouldn't be completely useless. So they got my epidural. She let me sit there for about 20 minutes with the epidural, and then she checked me. She put on my catheter. She wanted to make sure I was nice and numb, which was nice of her. And she checked me, and I was already at a 5. So it worked out perfect, because that's right where I wanted to be when I got my epidural, because I was afraid that it would slow down things, which my nurse said it wouldn't. She said that epidurals do not slow down labor. So yeah, so we just kind of hung out, and they told us it would probably be about 1 centimeter an hour, and hopefully before the end of the night we would deliver. So my mom was there, like I said, and my husband, and I told my mom, if she wants to get something to eat, or there was like a Marshalls and Big Lots like kind of across the street. So I told her, nothing's happening. I'm just sitting here, I'm hanging out, we're just staring at each other. There's nothing good on TV. If she wanted to go grab a bite to eat, or go to Marshalls or whatever, to go ahead, no problem. We'll call her if anything changes, because they're saying it's going to be hours and hours. So she leaves, and within 20 minutes, I start feeling like a tingling sensation in my crotch, and I was like, what's going on? So I just kind of ignored it, and then I kept feeling it every so often, and then like the nurse came in and was like, oh, your contractions are right on top of each other. I'm going to lower the Pitocin because I don't want the baby to have, go into stress or anything like that. I said, okay. So she lowered the Pitocin, and so then she left again, and I kept feeling the tingling in my crotch like every so often. And so finally I told my husband, I'm feeling a weird feeling in my crotch. What should I do? Should I call the nurse? And he was like, well, I don't know. So I said, no, let me wait and see. Maybe, maybe I'm crazy, because I was not expecting anything to be happening so soon. So then I called her after about another 15 minutes of feeling that every so often. I called her, and I told her I'm feeling something weird in my crotch, like a tingling sensation, and I don't know what's going on. So she came in, and she checked me, and she was like, oh my God, you're 10. So we called my mom, and she came rushing back, but she said the baby was still high. She said, she wasn't super low, so she said that it was okay. But she called the doctor to tell him to get to the hospital, because I was going to deliver. And by this time, this is like 5:30, maybe like 5. No, probably like 5:30. It's probably around 5:30. So yeah, so they called the doctor, and I kept telling her, like, I started having the sensation that I need to push with every contraction. So she told me, I won't not let you push, but I'm not going to help you push. I'm not going to coach you through it or any of that. So she's like, if you get a contraction, you feel like you need to push, then bear down. So that's what I did, and I really thought the doctor was not going to make it, because I felt like I was going to push her out. But finally the doctor came in, and wouldn't you know, my contractions slowed down. I was like, really? What the heck? But then I got a contraction, and I did 3 pushes back to back in that one contraction. Then we took a break, and probably about 5-6 minutes later, I got another contraction, and I did another 3 pushes, 2 or 3 pushes, and she was out. I did feel the ring of fire, and I felt him. I think he was pushing on me to try to help her out, and I did tear. I think I have 3 or 4 stitches, but I like I said, I felt the pressure, I felt pain when he was trying to help her out, I felt the ring of fire, and I felt, it wasn't really painful, but I could feel when he was doing the stitches, like it was uncomfortable. So I don't know, I'm sure she probably had turned off my epidural at that point, but I was not expecting that. I thought with the epidural I would be completely numb, like I wouldn't feel anything, and that's not the case, which is not a bad thing, because it wasn't a horrible amount of pain, and maybe it would have been more intense had I not had the epidural. I don't know, and I won't know, but it was a really good experience. She was out super quick, and she came out and she was just hanging out. Like, she kind of cried a little bit, but she turned pink right away, and she was just looking around, and it was just so awesome. And my husband was so happy, and he cried. Don't say I said that, but yeah, it was awesome. It was an awesome experience. It was a great labor and delivery. I was from 11, and she was born at 6:07 p.m. She was 6 pounds, 15 ounces, and 19 3/4 inches long. And no problem. I mean, she was perfect. She got a 9 out of 9 APGAR score, I believe is how they do it. I mean, she was just perfect. There's no other way to describe it. So yeah, so my labor was only 7.5 hours long, about 7.5 hours. And once she was there, we hung out in labor and delivery for maybe an hour when she was born, and then they moved us up to our recovery room, and we got to eat. Well, I got to eat, and we fed her. I'm trying to think what we did, and we ended up staying. I was able to go home the next day, but they wanted her, because when she was born, to stay. So we ended up having to stay that night and then another night. So that kind of sucked, but it was nice because we got her all to ourselves. The only people that came to visit were my mom and dad and my mom's husband, and that was it. So it was kind of nice because we just got to hang out with her and just look at her and take pictures of her, and they did her first little bath there, you know, all the normal stuff. But so yeah, so we got released on, she was born on the 4th, October 4th, and so we stayed the night of the 4th and the night of the 5th. So we got released on the 6th. And things have been going pretty good. I'll do another update on that, a separate video, and I'll wait until she's awake so you guys can see her on just kind of what's been going on. But I will show you guys a quick postpartum. Like I said, today is the, what day is today? 16th? You know, she'll be 2 weeks on Tuesday, and today's Sunday. So yeah, I don't know what day it is. All the days are together. But I'll show you my belly. I've lost pretty much I'm back already to my pre-pregnancy weight. But I still have like a little bit of a pudge. But I'll show you guys. So, here's with clothes on. I don't know. There goes into focus. Sorry, this thing's like sucking. It doesn't want to focus. But I'll show you guys so you can see too, like, so yeah, I have a little bit of squishy, but I'm gonna move forward. But yeah, I pretty much lost, I mean, I was chubby before I got pregnant. So, and here's from the front, and you can see my stretch marks, my battle wounds. And here's from the other side. But yeah, you can see how this is like super squishy. So hopefully with time it'll get better. That is it for now. And like I said, I will try to do another update in the next day or two, and I'll have her in it, I promise. Okay? Bye guys.